put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
For those of you just joining us, for those of you just waking up, for those of you having your morning cup of tea, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Tobago Updates Youth Wednesdays. Right, so we have an interesting interview for you this morning. We are joined here with Mr. Richard Lorde. He is the coordinator of Men of Purpose. He's here to tell us a little bit about that program. So, Mr. Lorde, good morning to you. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine.
All right, nice to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
What is Men of Purpose and what inspired you to start this initiative?
Men of Purpose is a group that has been formed, myself and 3 other men. We formed this group basically to mentor younger men and to reestablish them into society. Our inspiration came from a burden and a vision that I had of Tobago. In particular, I saw where Tobago was currently. It's a couple of years ago, about 2016 there. And I saw where Tobago would potentially come to if serious intervention didn't happen. And over the years, we saw the progressive decline in social fabric and the outfall. So we're here as Men of Purpose. We inaugurated in 2018 officially, but we've been working before that. And we are now trying to forge ahead very aggressively into the agenda that we have.
And this aggressive agenda, who is your target audience?
We're looking at, initially we were looking at men between the age of 18 to 35. But what we found is that we are getting a lot of younger teenagers. Yeah. What we're trying to do now is to try to stem the flow of that kind of behavior, so to speak, into mainstream society. If you go around Tobago, you see a number of young men on the street. We're trying to curb the flow so that we could capture a group of young men currently which we want to bring back into the social structure of Tobago. And if we could stem the flow, in other words, if we could find a means of dealing with those younger men, I call them men, younger men, then we could rehabilitate the whole of Tobago, so to speak.
Okay, and do you see a more positive outcome starting with them at a younger age? Because I know you said 18 to 35 at one point, but now you're targeting, well, you're getting requests for young men who come in at a younger age.
Yeah.
So do you think it would have a more positive yield when you target them at such a young age?
Yeah, they're more impressionable at that age. You could work with them. It's easier to work with them. We find that they are now learning new behavior patterns by mixing with the older group. So we could interfere and interrupt that process.
Right.
We could make a difference.
Okay. And what is the main goal of Men of Purpose? Who is a man of purpose after going through this program?
Yeah. It's interesting because if you understood what Tobago, when you say, for example, you go to Trinidad and you say, that's a Tobagonian, there was a level of respect. There was something different that the people greeted you by, mere reference to Tobago. And that came out of the fact that we had a productive capacity. We had a really Christian-like behavior. We had a social interface, and you could say good morning, you could go in and pick some mangoes here, there was a different way we socialized. And we begin to lose that kind of identity. So what we will have to do is to restore what is Tobago. What is patriotic Tobago? What is that person that identifies themselves as a Tobagonian in all of these facets. And we have to bring it back, because as far as you may, for example, from the administrative structure of Tobago, let's say the Tobago House of Assembly, the government, putting programs into place to help
aid these young men, yes.
There is an undermining kind of culture that is emerging, behavior that is emerging. So no matter how much you put these into place, unless we fix a certain level of social structure and behavior, it will undermine all the efforts. The money will go to waste. I mean, the use to which the money is allocated or intended will not find its real purpose.
So you're saying that even if they establish these programs in the THA, they need to provide guidance and counseling?
Yeah, there has to be a level at which we interact with the population, and we have this flow of I say men in this particular instance, this flow of people that do not fully understand or are not prepared from a particular place to access these things and to utilize them properly, while this is the benefit of this generation, the generation to come.
So your advice is to train who has to train these young men first before they initialize these programs in the THA and, well, a broader spectrum of the Trinidad and Tobago space?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and this is what Men of Purpose is providing?
This is what Men of Purpose is all about.
Okay, so what is the process for registration or sign up? If I see a young man on the street that I think, has the potential, or any young man in particular that has the potential of being mature, getting themselves back out into society as a functioning youth, eventually having a family, eventually having a business of their own, like yourself, what is the registration process? What should I do? How do I get on to you?
Well, the thing is that most of our references that people would know of us, and they will call us, contact us, and we will interface with these things. Now, this is the level of interfacing is very comes from a place where, for example, we interface with them at the homes.
Yes.
If the police is in the yard, we go there. If they have an interference with mother and son kind of situation, we show up there. We show up in the court. We show up in the law offices. We provide those kind of assistance. We go to court to support them if once they are members of Men of Purpose.
Yes.
So it is a level of interfacing that is not just counseling.
Yes.
We have to know who's their mother, who is their father, who is their brother. We there, you show up, for example. We have had instances where we show up, police in the yard, all the neighbors seeing what's happening. So it's a different level, and the response is different.
Yes.
Nobody wants somebody showing up in the yard to quell a situation. So there's a certain psychological effect, and we pray with them. We call them, we pray with them, we counsel them. It is a whole different level at which it's not just counseling, come into a room and say, well, what is your problem? How you see this, how you see that? No, it's a real time.
It's getting to know them on their level.
It is.
So I'm going to throw it out to you. What is the process like internally? When you join Men of Purpose, what do I expect? Yes, you show up in the homes and get to understand the environment and everything. But what is the process, the step-by-step process like in terms of getting a man where he needs to be? Well,
in the first place, one of the things you have to do is that we have to build the confidence in that you're really interested in their outcome.
Yes.
And that is one of the biggest challenge, really. Because they don't know you don't really know them, so to speak, and you are coming into the space. What it is about you, why I must respond to you in a particular way, why do I need to change my behavior to suit you?
Yes.
And that is a challenge. So we have to go there, and we have to make sure that they understand at what level we're coming in to deal with them. And really and truly, that is the process. That is the process where we is a slow process. You have to talk with them. You have to build their confidence, reshape their identity, show them that you really care about them. That's that underlying facet, that you care about these men, and you restore their confidence, and they begin to work with you. Yeah. It takes time.
Yes. So I just want to put in here, because I love how you said that, well, it's basically a stranger that you're meeting.
Yeah.
And you want to befriend them first before, getting into this process with them. Because overall, I think it's important that we form a relationship first with people instead of taking an authoritative approach. You don't want to command them, but you want to help them along their journey.
Yeah.
Right. So it is important. I commend you on that one, in getting to know the young men first before actually getting into what a man of purpose is supposed to be. Yeah. Right. So as we wrap up our interview this morning, I just want to ask you one more question, and that is, how do you think men of purpose in the long run will curb our violent society, our growing violent society today? Because we see that, we knew about, unfortunately, bad Trinidad, right? But now we're hearing about messy Tobago.
Yeah.
We're hearing about the increase in the crimes, a lot of gang warfare and stuff, and these things are happening in Tobago. Yeah. So what do you see the long-term contribution of a man of purpose into society doing to curb this violent situation?
One of the things we did, and we're going to return to that, is that we actually went on into the street, into where they're smoking, where they're gambling, where they're doing, and actually go inside of there,
right,
and work with them. But what our goal is that once they are restored, they take up the mantle in going into that same location,
right,
or bring their friends on board and begin to use the same process to reach those people that we will never reach. Because there is no way we're gonna know the list of men and what their activity is. And trust me, if you understand the list of activity that is happening, you really will not be able to see. You can't sit down and just do nothing about it. So we're using the same men to go back into the space and restore the thing.
In a sense of each one reach one.
That's correct.
Yes, right. I think that is that's a good approach, actually, right? Because, if I see that my friend has been helped out in this sense, and they're coming now to talk to me, to encourage me to do the same, I think I'll be very receptive.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a very good initiative. I congratulate you, Mr. Lorde, for seeing, the need to fix, in a sense, all young men in this society today, and have them realize what a man of purpose is supposed to be. All right. So viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Mr. Lorde, for joining us. For more information, you can contact Mr. Lorde at 737-0420. That is 737-0420. We continue on our program this morning into shark-infested waters. We know it's a very hot topic. Our interviewer is excited about it. The person coming to speak is excited about it. So we encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live.